So yeah, I mean, I spoke to Scott
Mm-hmm.
yesterday or 2 days ago. Nice guy.
Scott Case will blow your mind.
He's
He
just
is
like full
yeah.
of energy. Like you could tell his office is really cool.
He's like, I wonder if there's a way to, in some ways, redo the game that we did with Startup America in this concept of autonomous vehicles. And so that was how he started thinking about it. And then he started playing around with this idea of like a self-driving car NASCAR race and like all these sorts of like crazy things from it.
Drivers, start your engine! That outside line really got to run through 1 and 2. You saw Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in that 17 moved up to third on the outside of Montoya.
But some of these stories about your experiences and going to conferences and meeting these people and that kind of stuff. That's why I love the conference hack move that you played. Because it's two things. Number one, there's a story in the story, right? Like there's the story of you going and
journey.
Right. And I think even just some of your insights about, I mean, I'm the only woman there, you know, for the most part. I mean, the gender imbalance is 90-10 or whatever it is an interesting thing, right? And I'm not saying you want to make that like it's not the thing.
A flagship.
Yeah, it's not like, I mean, you're not writing that book, right? But I think it's just an interesting sense to say it's still early because all of the tech nerds are just hanging out, right? And so I was sort of the different one who's a woman and, you know, who's sort of not in the club yet. But anyway, just as you're starting to write those things, typically what happens, just to sort of lay it out for you, is you spend about a month and you've done some cool stuff, right? Like, I mean, I still want to hear the story about you going to the car show because I'm sure that was like an incredibly epic. Why don't you tell me that one and then I'll map you out the thing. So tell me about. I got to hear this because like.
So I got there. I think somebody told me about it. So I signed up. One of my colleagues at the class, and then I showed up and they were already talking. So there's a bunch of like really older gentlemen.
Yeah.
And, like a bunch of like everybody in the crowd. And we're talking about policy at the beginning, I remember. So I stood up and actually recorded the thing.
Oh, cool.
I thought it was interesting, just in case. And then I'm like, oh, how am I going to get to talk to people? Like, just like, and like at the end, I asked about the whole dilemma about like who dies.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's a good question.
And everybody's like, that's such a good question.
Yeah.
And nobody could answer it. There was like the Department of Transportation was there, some deputy people are there, like a bunch of people, nobody had any idea.
Yeah.
Like, we're still working. And then after,
it's a real question though. I mean, it's like,
is.
but it's funny. Like, it's a real question, but I'm not sure that it matters. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it matters. It matters from like it's an ethical people.
It's not a deal breaker. It's not like
that's what I'm saying. It's like
will disappear.
Exactly.
It will figure.
It feels like it's one of those things that's almost like. While all this stuff is going on, like Elon and other people are out there like actually doing shit. So it's like a funny thing. Like
nobody's waiting to hear like from the government.
Yeah, nothing against like the ethics part of it. Like it's fine, but like it's just your book is going to happen, and more people are going to be doing cars and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so it's just like one element, a small element. So then afterwards, I was thinking like, do I go up there and talk to people? So I got up there and I talked to some guy from Michigan. From the DMV as well, and I ended up talking to 4 people, getting 4 business cards.
Nice.
So I'm like the only girl there, and there
I was gonna imagine it was probably not the like gender imbalance was pretty far off.
Yeah. I mean, I'm an engineer by background, so everywhere I go is like,
it's true.
So I'm just used to it.
Yeah.
And then one of the guys like, oh, my dad is writing a book about this, dude. And he was really nice. So then I contacted 2 of them. I think one of them got back to me. Then the next session, it was more interesting. It was in the commercial side. So Uber, somebody from Uber was there. From the NL Transportation, is like the Central Transportation DC, policy based. Intel and the guy from insurance. So I spoke to. So afterwards, I kind of knew the drill.
Yeah.
So
you now know.
So
what's the secret of hacking the conference? Is it you sort of wait until the end and then
and you come up to talk to them.
Do you lead with, hey, I'm writing a book?
I said, I'm a student at Georgetown. I'm a graduate student. I'm writing a book for a class on autonomous vehicles.
Cool.
And I'm doing some interviews for my research, early stage, and I'd like to have some.
Oh, that's cool.
From you.
And then you don't try to like interview them there. You just try to get them to like.
It's
that's
just
smart.
Because they're trying to clear the room for the next year. And
I was thinking about it because I'm
5 people there.
There's sometimes I have like when I get asked to talk, there's like, I feel bad because there's like a line of people who want to like give me their card or whatever it is. And I'm like, listen, whoever I'm talking to, I love you, but like we got to continue this later because so smart.
So it was very brief,
very quick. I mean, I think you should think about writing a story of your experience at the conference. Like, I think there's a part of the mix of your book will have a mix of personal stories, a mix of interview stories, and a mix of sort of these secondary source stories. And I think that's what we're going to be doing with your story index now, is starting to write out all of the things you want to write on. And for you, just as much these stories of discovering people and going to these events should be things that you will include.
But I should probably keep in mind because I kind of just like, it's like a means to an end, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, I just want to get the story of the person.
People think of it as being a means to an end, but that's the story of itself.
Interesting as well.
Yeah, because you'll see then when you preview, like let's just say you interview the guy from Intel. Well, eventually that happens, and you're writing his story, and there's always these places in books where you want to be able to tell kind of interesting sort of transitions between things. So let's just say I met Mike from Intel at this conference, and that's the lead-in line. Then you talk about, and from Mike I heard blank, and you let Mike tell a story, blah blah. The thing for that, at that the conference where I met Mike, I generally saw blank, that sort of stuff. So you can see how you can kind of transition, and you can then tell it. One of the things that was fascinating to me was X and Y and Z, and like there's these interesting ways that the story within the story makes the narrative elements of a book much more interesting.